right. Good evening, everyone. Thanks you for dialing in for tonight's corporate webinar. Here we have Censof Holdings Berhad. Censof Holdings Berhad delivers a range of financial technology solutions from e-payment and wealth management to SME accounting system supported by modern cloud-based and integrated platform. The company now is focusing on AI-driven automation, compliance, and invoicing and enhance their digital solution. Censof also just released their Q2 financial year 2026 earning result. All right. Here we plan to honor the company Group Managing Director, Mr. Amil. Hi, Mr. Amil.
Hi, Chingin. Hi, everyone.
Hi. And welcome our Deputy Group Managing Director, Mr. Selvan. Hi, Mr. Selvan.
Good evening.
Good evening. And our Chief AI Officer, hi, Mr. Jude.
Yeah, hi. Good evening, everyone.
Hi, all right. Without further ado, we'll start the presentation. Over to you, Mr. Amil.
Thank you, Shayin. Good evening again. Thank you, firstly, for taking time to be here. I hope everyone's have their at least some light dinner. My name's Amir. I'm going to present to you on behalf of Censof Holdings. We just announced our Q2 results 2 days back, which is on Monday. Now, I will run through the presentation today. I will be doing on part 1, the agenda 1, which is the introduction, followed by the business overview itself and the outlook. We will then touch on financial highlights and finally on the economics, ESG, and where do we see our business going up. Okay, we'll start with agenda part number 1. Now, at a glance, who we are. We've been established at least 25 years ago, which is 1999. We got listed in 2011. To date, we've got more than 100 government agencies with more than 400,000 SMEs using our accounting software. We focus more in government and SMEs and micro SMEs and also GLCs. Now with the movement right now towards AI, we've begin to start positioning ourselves more towards the AI. Now, a little bit on our performance for the last 6 months, which our ending September 2025, 6 months, a revenue of about 50.6 million and a GP of 19.2. Our gross profit is about 37% of the revenue, which is about 19.2. And our PBT to date for 6 months is 5.1 million ringgit. That gives us about 10% margin with a PAT of 3.4 million. Now, again, our core business, we divided into 4 main segments, which is the financial accounting software solution for the government. The second pillar is the financial management solution for commercial and SMEs. The third pillar is our wealth management solutions. And the final one, which is the growing one, which is the digital technology segment. Next slide, please. Now, moving on in terms of our global footprint, we are very much into government accounting and SME accounting, and we position ourselves more in this region, this part of the world where South Asia, with Malaysia, Singapore, and also Hong Kong is our main area of business, and secondary with regards to Indonesia, Thailand, Cambodia, and Philippines. We've grown ourselves for the last 20 years. Can we go next slide? A little bit about the leadership. If you look at it, our board of directors, 6 of us. Our chairman, Tan Sri Dato Syukur, who used to be the Income Tax Inland Revenue CEO. Dato Rizwan used to be the Deputy Accountant General. And Cik Mahathir Mazan, a senior accountant, and he has his own accounting business that he runs. Myself, Mr. Tamil Selvan, and Ms. Ang. And the 3 of us, myself, Selvan, and Ang Sichen, we are the executive directors for the group. On the right, you look at it, the management team. We have Dr. Zainul, who spearhead the revenue side, which is our Group Chief Revenue Officer, with Mr. Param, our COO for the group. Jude, which we recently announced, is our Group Chief AI Officer. And finally, Rohaimi, which is our Group Accountant. Now, the four of them assist us in the whole group. Now, a little bit more about the group structure, the four pillars. The financial management for government, spearheaded by Censof Malaysia Berhad, which is the government accounting arm, which we do Saga accounting business. CS Cloud, which does more on the cloud services solution. I'll go to the next one, which is on the financial management for commercial and SMEs. We have ABSS. If you remember MYOB, that is the business right now, which we rename it to be ABSS software for the SMEs and micro SMEs. And we have NetSense, which is on the commercial area of business for the accounting side. I'll move to the next pillar, which is the digital technology. This is where we have our robotic process automation, our AI, our data, and our cloud services together with InsurGo Digital, which is the insurance aggregator platform that we have. And finally, the fourth pillar, which is the wealth management solution, which is based in Jakarta, and we specialize in wealth management, which is more asset and for the banking sector. Next slide. Right, from here, I will now pass over to my colleague, Tamil Salvan, who's going to go through our next slides. Thank you.
Hi, good evening. I'll quickly take you through our core business. As Inchame explained, our business market segment from government to corporate, large corporate to SMEs and micro SMEs, as well as asset management companies and banks. We have four core businesses: financial management solution for the government, commercial, SMEs, wealth management, and digital technology. I will cover this in the next few slides in detail. Next slide. Right, the first segment, financial management solution for government. The 61.8 million was our revenue for last year, FY25. Basically, we provide a solution called Saga, Standard Accounting for Government Agencies. And to date, we have about 100 over government agencies using our solution, which are Saga certified. Our key focus areas, our product is called GRP, and we do system implementation on the cloud and also future-proofing our technology using AI. So if you can see down there, those are the solutions we provide: GRP, XRP, local government, tender wizard, e-claim. Those are all the modules and solutions we provide to the government sector. We would say that we are the leaders. There are about 430 statutory bodies in Malaysia, and to date, we have more than 100 of them as our customers. 35 million in recurring revenue from this particular segment. And we have a team of 170. Since we roll out accounting or financial management solutions, we also have 40 qualified accountants who implement and roll out these systems to the respective government and state agencies. Next slide. Right, our solution basically, as you can see in the center, we have an OEM worldwide rights for government accounting. We work on a product called Acumedica, and that's the base, the XRP platform, and we have built our domain, the government accounting domain, and we market and sell that currently only in Malaysia. In future, we have some sites, so just a site in Brunei, and we will be expanding out to the ASEAN as well as other regional business soon. And this gives you a more detailed breakdown of all our products. GRP, basically, government, we call it government resource planning. In terms of ERP, we call it government resource planning because that's basically our focus in terms of the clients we deliver. On top of that, we also deliver some core government solutions. I will cover that in a bit in the next slides. Okay, these are our major customers. So as you can see, the the financial management solution we deliver for the government is, it has to be fairly comprehensive. So take, for example, LHDN. They have about 64 branches throughout Malaysia. They have about 20 to 30,000 receipts issued per day, and including even 10 to 20,000 tax payments, including the tax refunds, which are given to the customers somewhere in April when they do their tax filing. So the system we deploy is fairly comprehensive, and some of these statutory bodies are actually larger. Each of their budgets, the government's allocation are around 1 to 2 billion, each of them spend in a year. And they have a high, in terms of staff rank, each of them will have, a small agency will probably have 1,000 employees. The larger ones like Inland Revenue has about 15,000 employees. So that's the extent of the solution we deliver to the government agencies. So on top of the stat bodies, we also cover QAP, Amanah Raya, Tabung Haji, PDPDN, all the universities, majority of the universities, the backend system covers, and also some GLCs, Perbaran Hartanah Berhad, Sirim, DRB Highcom. Those are some of the GLCs where we have implemented our solutions. Next slide. As I explained, government, there are three segments, federal statutory bodies, state statutory bodies, and local government. So these are the customers we have implemented for the local government solution. The local government solution, on top of the back-end accounting, we also deliver the assessment, the rental, the compound fines solution, and also the collection system for local government. So these are the agencies where for local government we have implemented. Next. Now, while doing that as our core business, we have also been engaged to do some, over the past 4 or 5 years, we've been engaged to do, the government is very focused on digitalization. So we have also done some of the government's digitalization projects. First one is MyBPI. This is mainly for SME Corp, where SME Corp processes all the government grants and loan. Last year, 25, the government rolled out about 500 million in terms of loans and grants to SMEs. So we have a low-code, no-code platform which engages with the SMEs, where the SME submits the application. And we have also enabled some kind of blockchain where once they have successfully registered, they get a blockchain which will determine their applicability of what kind of grants and loans SMEs can get and the categorization of SMEs. We also rolled out the government's iPayment solution. This is for Accountant General's Office, where all collections for federal government is done through this system. And something slightly different, ISPKB. This is the online commercial vehicle licensing. So all Grab drivers, if you see on their phone at the end, you can see their permits. Those permits for drivers are issued through our system, which Grab and other commercial vehicle companies use them. Currently, it is digitized. We track in terms of the application of commercial vehicle licenses. In Malaysia, there are 150,000 commercial vehicle operators who operate, from small 2 or 3 lorries to buses to large companies like Mara, where they have the buses. So we facilitate the digitization of those processes. And on my left, those are some of the projects which we won for FY25. These were some of the latest additions to our client base. So Melaka Corp, Amanah Raya, PHB, and all PDC, Penang Development Corporations, were agencies we added on last year into as our clients. Next. The second segment, financial management for commercial and SMEs. Last year, we did about 22.2 million in terms of revenue. 2 main companies here, NetSense, which does the large corporates. The product we carry is similar to the government accounting on Acumatica, but these are for the corporate and mid-sized businesses. And on the right is ABSS, formerly known as MYOB. This is where we have about, over the years, we have about 400,000 licenses sold in the respective SMEs in Malaysia, Singapore, Hong Kong, which are our larger markets, where we have sold our solutions there. And because of e-invoicing, This has more take-ups. Of course, some slight delays because government, in terms of rolling out e-invoicing, currently has moved on to July next year. So we have been providing a SaaS solution where the MOOB users or the ABSS Premier users can move on. On top of that, we also have a product called Financial and Financial Payroll, targeted for the micro or the smaller SMEs. To date, we have about 6,000 subscribers of that in Southeast Asia, but mainly in Malaysia and Singapore. Next. To give you a sample of some of the customers, these are the customers right from Samsung Digital, MPH Stores, Rakuten Trade. The backend of your Rakuten Trade runs on our ABSS Premier solution. So those are some of the customers we have in the commercial sector business. Next. The third segment, wealth management. This is currently out of Jakarta in Indonesia. We have 4 products here: wealth management, investment management. These are a platform which we have built for banks, for insurance companies, for asset management companies to manage the high net worth individuals. So today we have about 50 banks and asset managers, pension funds who use our product in Indonesia, as well as we have also onboarded the last 2 years Perbankan Hartanah Berhad as one of our customers, and we also focusing in terms of implementing some of those solutions in Malaysia. Next. These are some of the names. Some of the names you can see: CIMB, Maybank. Those are all the Malaysian banks in Indonesia uses our solution to manage the high net worth individuals, including some of the larger organizations like BNB Paribas, BNI. These are some of the larger banks where we have implemented our solution. So this gives you the variety of banks, asset management companies, and insurance companies, including even Traveloka, where it's an app and we facilitate for them to trade on unit trust and some of the financial instruments for Traveloka using our system. Next. The next segment, the fourth segment, digital technology. This basically, we started about 3 to 4 years because as a technology company, AI and RPAs and the new stuff in terms of IT, we needed to adopt. So in this segment, we have about 6 companies in this segment. And we develop products either on AI or on RPA or electronic procurement and insurance. And other than the insurance, most of the other digital tech companies focus on our large client base. We have a huge client base, as I showed you earlier, in our 100 over government agencies, as well as the 400,000 SMEs. So solutions built in this digital technology segment, we market that mainly to our existing customers. So the companies here, Glucose, I will cover these 6 companies in a bit more detail in the next slides. So Glucose is basically a cloud data center established in Telecom Malaysia. So during COVID, most of the government agencies who used to be only on-premise, right? We need to go to their side. Everyone has their own servers. But during COVID, where people had to work from home and run their payroll and their government processes in terms of the subsidies issued by government. So today, out of the 100 over agencies, we have 50 of them run on our cloud environment at TM. So Glucose is a Korean company. I would say the largest Microsoft solution provider in Asia. We partnered with them to provide solutions in terms of migrations and AI and data for the cloud. I mean, there's suddenly been a slight delay in terms of rolling out of the Microsoft AWS have established this year their cloud solutions in all their data centers in Malaysia. And now we are focusing on how we can deliver them. The second one, Tender Pinta. It's an e-procurement solution. To date, we have about 25 government agencies where we do the end-to-end digital tendering and managing those tenders. So everything is digitalized, no more paper. Vendors come in, apply for the tenders, everything online, get evaluated, and they get their purchase order online as well. So that's our e-tendering platform under Tender Pinta. Cognitive Consulting. We acquired this company 4 years back as an RPA company, but today RPA has evolved into generative AI. So we are rolling out, we have a lot of customers under Cognitive Consulting, namely TM, Accountant General's Office, Malaysian Airlines, where we provide the whole backend RPA processes which they want to automate, and also the Gen AI solutions. I'll cover those customers in the next slide. Expanding on the balance of the companies out of the 6, the earlier 3, the next 3, Buy Now, it's a payment gateway solution. We do both host-to-host banking solutions through the 5 banks named there, Maybank, CIMB, MBank, and Hong Leong. As well as we have our own payment gateway called Buy Now, where we facilitate all our current government agencies for them to do their collections, or when their customers or businesses or individuals who want to pay for their services, we use Buy Now to do that for them. The one in the middle, B4Gov, this is very, very new. As you can see, government in terms of digitization is very focused in terms of upskilling, reskilling. And there are many programs where the workforce will be upskilled. So we did a JV with Decago, which actually owns a training provider called KnowledgeCom. So we have done a tie-up with them, 51-49, basically focusing on our existing client base where they have a lot of government servants who needs to be trained to upskill, and that's the company which we formed, B4Gov. The last one, interesting, I would say Inchoku is actually a startup where we are the first fully digital insurance and takaful aggregation platform, where currently we have rolled out travel, motor, as well as Tenang 3.0 as an insurance product. Very early stages. We have to date 19 partners registered with the people like Twin, Generali, Pacific, Alliance. And we have rolled out travel probably the last 2 months, and Moto was just launched last week, not in a big way. We will be doing that soon, where the difference is we are not an agent. We just provide the platform, and all we earn is a platform fee, whereas citizens or public who want to buy insurance, they come into our platform and we will be able to get insurances at a much cheaper price because we are not an agent who charge your 10% and things like that. So that's the difference of us as an aggregator platform. Next. So these are all the customers in the digital tech. Some are new customers, especially like KK Mart, NSK, Mydin. We do some RPA processes for Mydin. KK Mart, we move their solutions to cloud. Accountant General's Office, A&M, we do their unclaimed monies. If some of you, of course, all Rakuten's clients and partners, whenever you trade, when you get your dividend, you sold your shares before that, those directly goes to unclaimed money. So a system called e-Gumis by Accountant General's Office, we do the back-end RPA process to fasten those processes, including earlier you need to get your bank statement stamped by the bank officer before you make a claim. But today you submit your digital bank statements and we can verify whether it is genuine or not and process your unclaimed money. So those are some of that. And of course, on this side, you can see TM, Post Malaysia, Malaysian Airlines, where we have in TM, all TM's RPA processes are done by Cognitive. And recently, we have also worked on some AI data solutions with Sarawak Energy. So these are the customers for digital technology. Next. Okay, in terms of business outlook, as you can see, we have a diversified growth engines, the 4 segments I explained. A lot of them, we have a recurring revenue. The first part, FMS-G, the government business. Out of the revenues, we get 35 million are recurring. In the second segment, FMS-C, 70% of our revenues are recurring in that segment, even though it is a fairly large segment where we have at least we have business support revenue from 20 to 30,000 customers, because the softwares we sell are, of course, much smaller in terms of pricing. Strong public sector relationship. We are proud to say that out of the 100 over customers, some of them have been with us the last 25 years. So we provide solutions started in 97 with green screen, and today they are Web 3.0 digitalized mobile applications. A very defensible market position. As you can see, most of the customers, like I mentioned, we have customers the last 25 years. We've added on. When we first listed in 2011, we had about 40 customers. Today, we have 100 over customers, and we are in a very strong market position. Product differentiation. We are very different from some of the SI we don't do many SI projects. We build our own solutions. So out of the 400 people, majority of them are engineers, and we build our own products here in Malaysia and in Indonesia. So with the team, we develop, enhance our own product. And of course, AI enable. Jude came on with us as CAIO. We are very focused in adopting AI. We believe that's the future. And if we miss the boat in terms of using these tools to fast track, I think we will lose that business. So we are very focused in getting that done, and that's the reason for the CAIO. So we don't have a CTO as such. We still have products, but in terms of development, we are more focusing on AI. We have a large customer base, and in terms of selling our other products, like our digital technology products, which we come out with, like we have a product from Cognitive called RAS, Reconciliation as a Service, RAS Plus, where it can automatically do bank reconciliations, a few on invoice, automatic capturing of invoice and updating into your record. So in terms of those initiatives, we are normally the first ones to roll out that to our client base. And of course, those are pretty disruptive technologies where I think we are fortunate. The Malaysian government is adaptive to this and encouraging businesses and government agencies to adopt to the new tech. With the 19 data centers in Malaysia, a lot of them are adopting this. And I've already covered the recurring revenue portion. Bulk of our revenues, I would say about nearly 50% of Censof Group's revenue, 50 to 50% is recurring. And our regional footprint, currently we operate only in ASEAN countries, but in basically 11 countries, including Hong Kong and Sri Lanka. But moving forward, we are looking to grow that footprint bigger in other ASEAN and other markets as well. I will pass on this to Mr. Jude to explain on AI.
Right. Thank you, Mr. Selvan. Hi, everyone. My name is Jude. I'm overseeing the AI initiatives within the group. So within the Censof Group, right? So what are the areas that we're looking at implementing AI? So one of the first things that we are doing is we're looking at how we can improve our operations through the use of AI. So that one of the ways that we're doing so is to help to get our developers to adopt using AI-assisted coding to do their projects in their software development. Censof has got a large team of software developers. The new way of doing software development is to leverage AI coding assistance. We are now rolling out the implementation of coding assistance across the group, and we have already started developing or implementing project leveraging this coding assistance. We are also seeing improvement in the output of these coding agents as well. So with that, there would be a reduction in our project implementation timeline. And we forecast there will be improvement in terms of margins as well. So with that, we'll be able to deliver solutions faster, implement faster our projects into our clients as well. So that's in improving operations. Next, in terms of annual recurring revenue, key metric we are looking here is the AI-ARR, which is a AI annual recurring revenue. What we are also doing is looking at our existing set of products as well, right? We're looking at adding AI components to it. An example is what Mr. Selvan shared just now. A couple of years ago, we developed a product called Bank Reconciliation as a service. What we have done is to improve the overall operations of this bank recon solution. We have embedded it with additional features using AI. With that, the success rate of bank reconciliation has gone up. So this is just one of the type of services where we have leveraged AI, but we are also doing that on a number of other services and products within the group as well. So with that, we'll be able to sell this as additional services, subscription-based services to our clients. Through implementing all of this is going to strengthen our market leadership. We have already got a large footprint in the public sector. We have got a huge enterprise clients in this region as well. All those clients are going to be upgraded using the new services and offerings from our AI enhanced products. And with that as well, we'll be able to lower the costs of serving our clients as well through the use of generative and predictive AI. So what does this translate to the investors? So there's a clear upside here for the investors, because right now with AI, we're positioning Censof as a regional champion for finance. There's going to be visible increase in terms of our annual revenue, recurring revenue, which will also encourage a much stronger valuation multiples as well. So through this AI implementation, we hope that it will strengthen the company, the long-term earnings, and solutions across the group. Over to you, Mr. Selvan.
Thank you, Jude. Okay, that's basically in terms of what we do, our business segments, and being AI focused. So those are some of the initiatives we are taking. I'll cover our financial highlights. As you can see, for FY2026, earlier Inchame has already mentioned our revenue and gross profit. Our revenues has been consistent over the last 4 years, and our 6 months shows that we are on target for the 6 months. But some of our revenues, especially for the government business, comes mainly in the fourth quarter because government budget starts in January. So the fourth quarter is always a bit different from the other 3 quarters we have. So first half, those were basically our numbers and profitability as well. We are quite similar in terms of the previous years, in terms of numbers we have done. Next. In terms of each quarter, again, if you can see the graph, it's fairly consistent every quarter in terms of revenue, what we have delivered. So sometimes the challenges are when you have some of the government digital projects, where in terms of delivery crosses across particular financial periods, and some of those, our core products like our GRP, the Saga solutions, and some of the products which we carry like Tanda Pinta, our bank reconciliation process, Buy Now, those are quick to be implemented and rolled out. But some of the digitalization projects in terms of acceptance and change management initiatives to get buy-in from the public as well as the government. Sometimes those are some of the challenges we face, but overall, those are the numbers we have been doing the last 5 quarters. Okay, next. In terms of segmental, as you can see, more than, I would say about 60% of our revenues, 50 to 55% comes still from the government business, where FMS-G contributes that. FMS-C is the second largest contributor to the business, which are all commercial entity, and we will definitely see an increase in the FMS-C segment because of adoption of e-invoicing. As all of you are aware, e-invoicing will become mandatory for businesses below $500,000 by next June. So we believe there'll be a bigger uptake on that segment once the enforcements or once the adapting e-invoice comes into place. The wealth management solution contributing this quarter about 4.6 million. Again, this was good, but the only unfortunate for Censof, right? Most of the time when your currency appreciates, it's good for business. But we have revenues from Indonesia as well as Singapore. When the Malaysian currency strengthens a bit, so in terms of revenue, we see a slight dip. But in terms of overall contribution to the group, those revenues are about the same over the last 2-3 years. Digital technology, as you can see, started with 10.8, and over the years, it has been growing. So those are the new products and solutions which we have added to our staple of products which we carry out, and that contributes in terms of cloud adoption or using AI, using cloud services or mobile. That's grown over the years, and for this 6 months, we are about there, and we believe that will also be a major contributor for this financial year. Statement of financial position, as you can see, in terms of cash and cash equivalents, we are fairly healthy. Of course, adopting AI, we need to. We have a younger team of developers. We tend to build our own products. As you can see, we are not a solution integrator where we outsource work and get things done. Most of our products are developed internally. So Mr. Jude and his team, we have hired a few AI engineers and looking at the newer products which we will be rolling out will be developed using those teams overall in every subsidiary in the group. And our equity has strengthened. Today, we are still consistent for the 6 months in terms of where we are, 108.4 million. And Censof, if you can see, there are no borrowings. So our borrowings are very minimal, or actually you can see to zero, mainly used for bank reconciliation, for bank guarantees, and where we need to tender for certain projects where bank guarantees and stuff are required. That's when we have a facility to do those things for those particular purposes. So we are in a financial position of strength to cater and look forward for our coming 6 months. Now, in terms of ESG or EESG, our core values, caring, credible, committed, and our vision as a technology innovation leader. Sustainability has been our focus, and I would say Censof has been a good boy. We got 3 out of 4 stars for FTSE Russell ESG rating, and this was basically the statistics of our compliance. This was done by Russell for companies listed on the Bursa Stock Exchange. So we basically comply And in the next slide, these are the EESG segments. And in terms of how we cater for economic, we have good procurement process, or we even have a solution which caters for certain particular economic environments which we practice. In terms of environmental, we focus on energy management, gas emission, water. We have been doing this the last 2 years. We have data currently for the last 2 years, and we monitor them on a quarterly basis, even though reporting it's only done once a year. In terms of social, customer satisfaction, employee engagement, diversity, I think in terms of diversity, we are about there. Nearly 40% of our workforce are women. And in terms of engaging with local communities with CSR, we have programs like our financial. When they acquire our products, we have committed to contribute 1% of those revenues to the communities as being a caring, credible, committed. We live up to our three C's which we have. In terms of governance, I think leadership and governance and data privacy security, so far we don't have any of those breaches. We've been successfully managing those things, and all, not just our data centers, but our products are ISO 27001 certified, as well as our data centers are also certified by the Government Chief Security Officer. Otherwise, government will not host their solutions at our data center. So those are the governance processes we have strictly been following and have in place. Next. Key takeaways. I think AI first transformation roadmap. So that's when our CTO, our former CTO resigned, we were very focused on getting a CAIO in place. And all our development and initiatives, of course, they work side in side with our development team we have today, where they use AI to assist to fast track some of the developments, documentations. So we use tools in multiple areas to fast track some of those deliverables. I have covered enough in terms of recurring growth. I think we have a big recurring revenue, and we have a large client base. So these products and solutions using AI and automatic initiatives, we have a huge client base where we can market that too. And regional digital finance leader in the making. I think with actually Malaysia, one of the first to adopt e-invoicing. I think Singapore is also targeting to do that by FY2027. So we see a lot of, when there's compliance by governments, we see a lot of take-up of digital solutions and initiatives by the corporate sector to cater for those requirements. So those are basically our 3 key takeaways. Thank you. If there are any, I'll pass it back to Shikin to...
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Selvan, Mr. Chu, and Mr. Amil, just now for the presentation. Are you all get ready for the Q&A section?
Yeah.
Yeah, all
Yeah.
right. Let's review for the first question. Okay, your AI first strategy is cut delivery time by up to 40%. How much margin improvement do you expect from AI in the next 2 to 3 years?
I think using AI, currently, I think there are many tools available, and you need to use multiple tools to get to where you want. I think today, in terms of chatbots, in terms of some of those things, they have been rolled out. But for core development, we have started using those tools. Some of the projects we have already rolled that out, and those are some of the savings which we believe. which will facilitate. So probably productivity will be faster in terms of delivery, especially the older stack of solutions we have, and we want to move them to on a newer stack. I think AI today helps that, you give it some source codes and you want a better UI and stuff like that. That's what it can do much better instead of rebuilding all this again from scratch. That's the things which AI can give.
Okay. With an AI automating coding and delivery, how will you reshape your workforce? Is this will be fewer developer or you will hire more engineering?
Jude, you want to take the question?
Yeah, Jude, you want to take it?
Yeah, okay. Which is true. AI is helping us in doing the coding work as well. Yes, the workforce also needs to be, there will be a reshape in our workforce as well. What we see is that the developers, instead of focusing more onto coding, right, they will now focus more on validation, more on testing, and they will also be getting liaising with the clients to really understand the business requirement as well. So there is a change here, but they become more. The expertise will shift into liaising with clients, understanding clients' requirement, taking clients' requirements, and they need to work with the tools, test it, validate it, run through with the client. If there's any changes, they need to come back as well. So the way it's called AI-driven development life cycle. So we are putting together our developers to go through these training programs because there's going to be a shift in how they're going to work on the new way of working on doing software development.
It changed the way how they work and then serve the client and then get the license and understand their client. So
Exactly. And on top of that, their productivity will also increase because instead of just doing a couple of projects a year, they can now do more projects in a year. So we're looking at significant increase in productivity.
okay, got it. Okay. Will you launch any AI native product, like not just AI enhanced add-on that can become standalone recurring revenue line? If yes, which segment comes first?
This is still in the discussion stage at the moment. Or rather, it's still in the planning stage at the moment.
Okay. Are you planning a public sector AI agent like budget drafting, procurement check, or fraud alert?
Yeah, we do get quite a number of use cases in this area. Again, still in the planning stages with regards to these public sector agents.
Okay. Okay. With 80 GPR clients and you have 35 million recurring revenue, how exposed are you if the government adopt a single national GRP platform?
The government, as I mentioned earlier, it's called SAGA, Standard Accounting for Government Agencies. I would say we are the market leaders. We have lived through 5 prime minister changes. These are larger agencies where, as long as you are innovative, you keep them up to date with, like what Jude mentioned, AI-based solutions, like for budgeting and also for automated financial reporting. Those are some of the things we have delivered today to our customers. I don't see the government's aim is to achieve standardization, and we have shown them over the last 30 years that we have and continue to, as I showed you earlier, the new customers we have added on. There are more customers we can add, and all this goes through a proper tendering process, right? The new customers, it's through a tender. Probably for maintenance where they can justify because we are the providers of those things, then those are through direct nego. But new tenders, new projects are always through tender, and we win. As you can see, Censof normally announces projects they have won, and these are through the normal processes.
Okay. Just now you mentioned you go through the tendering. Normally, how many competitor peers like together with you to tender for the project?
Depending for GRP, probably 5 to 6. But if it's a government digitalization projects, some of them you have 20 to 30 competition. You got many different people, many different players. So whatever is niche where we have our core strength as a product and our experience that differentiate us from so we don't tend to go for the very large government initiative projects. Those are mainly SI. So we do our larger projects are in the teens or in the 20 million and below. But we have multiple of those in every particular year where we add on to our client base.
Okay. Could you share the historical for the tendering successful rate?
Say again, I didn't get that.
Could you share for the tendering successful rate?
Tendering successful rate anywhere between, depending on what type of product, it will be 25 to 30%. When it's our core product, we have a higher chance of winning. But if it is a generic kind of a solution, then the chances of winning a tender is normally, 3 times, 30%, 25 to 30% is what can be a success rate.
Okay, quite good. Okay. What share of new GPR models will be AI-driven by default to shift workflow from compliant to predictive?
Okay, so in terms of GRP, just now I think somebody asked a question on fraudulent. So those things come standard as in our platform. So when you get an invoice, those things, the fraud detections are already embedded. So currently with AI embedded into our platform, you can check when you key in an invoice, the similar invoice was paid 2 months ago, whether it's a next claim, all those things are embedded into the product. A lot of things like what you pointed out, budgeting and also tendering, right? In terms of tendering, in terms of how our current system facilitates suppliers to make sure they don't miss out any of the attachments and things like that. It will tell you upfront when you're submitting your tender, it will say, hey, you need to fill up all this and it will check for you so that when the suppliers submit their tenders, they are correct. And we are building more of this in terms of to encourage like application for SME loans, right? We have done a blockchain enable solution. So an SME, when they give their blockchain certificate, they can say, okay, you are eligible for loans up to 50,000 or 100,000, depending on your size. You don't have to go through that process again because you already have that. And unless the SME is a bigger SME, they submit their next year's financial statements, then they can go for the different types of categories of loans which the government provides. So we have embedded a few of these things, but like what Mr. Jude mentioned, these are learnings and a lot more efficient ways of getting things done. We are in the process of delivering some of this.
Okay, just now you also mentioned the e-invoicing. With e-invoicing becoming mandatory, and how is that going to help or impact Censof business?
So the moment it's mandatory, everybody will have to comply. Especially SMEs today, right? When they moved, they were supposed to have done that by this last July. But government, I think in June last year, 5th of June, they said that, we are giving them more time to adopt. So obviously, SMEs being SMEs, nobody is going to go to Inland Revenue and say, let me do this voluntarily for you, right? When the time is this December and next June, we have to wait for that, right? So we believe we have a large client base. Some of them who are in terms of currently those 5 million and one who need to comply, they have already complied using the solutions. But the newer ones, as the timeline comes, we believe they will also adopt. And I think everybody will have to digitize. Even though LHDN has given them an option to go into their website and key in those transactions at the website. But those who have volume, they will definitely need to buy some kind of solutions to cater for their needs. It won't be feasible to do that manually unless you are a very small trader and you have 3 invoices a month. Then possibly yes, right? You can just go to the website and submit. But those who have 10, 20 a day, they need to have a proper system to cater for this. Otherwise, you won't be meeting the compliance step by Inland Revenue.
Yeah, especially the audit time.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you plan to enter cybersecurity or government cloud using your iOS 27001 capabilities?
That's one of the segments. So in our cloud, we have a separate division under CS Cloud, which looks at that. Currently, in terms of cybersecurity, there is some of them. The new requirement is DPO, right? What's a DPO? It stands for you need to have a data protection officer. So some of our team members have already been certified on those things. So those are some of the requirements which you need to comply. So currently, I think for data protection, the DPO is very, very important. So we are currently looking at those areas in terms of security compliance or in those areas.
Okay. You serve 400,000 plus SME. What is the current pay for SaaS penetration versus your free or legacy users?
The legacy users, the 400,000 are licenses we have sold over the years, right? I say in terms of for financial, which is fully cloud, like I mentioned, we have about 6,000 customers today who are fully financial is SaaS. It's a built out financial and financial payroll is on SaaS. Today we have about 6,000 users. In terms of moving from ABSS Premier to ABSS Connect, so far we have successfully moved about 6,000 of them. That's our conversion rate for SaaS.
Do you plan to bundle e-invoicing, payroll, payment, and financing into an SME super apps?
We have already done that with financial, with accounting and payroll. Not just payroll, a bit of HR as well. So you can do attendance. You can do a small KPI for the SMEs. Financing is something we are currently working. We will be in the next month. We are looking to work with some of the banks. We have initiated some talks with RHB in terms of suppliers who come in for tenders and they want to get their bank guarantees or they need their deposit. So those are some of the solutions we are working with banks to deploy so that they can look at that as well too. So currently in Singapore, especially for Singapore, the grant, so we have DBS Bank in Singapore. Singapore is a grantpreneur, country, right? So everything you digitize, you get a grant, and the grants are disbursed through the banks. So like even here, RHB, right? You go to Reflex, you pay for your Reflex account. You can use financial accounting to digitize your operation. So that comes together with it. So those are some of the initiatives we have taken to do for those purposes.
Okay, asking about e-invoicing again. With mandatory e-invoicing coming, how much revenue upside do you expect for ABSS, Finosco, and Netizen over the next 24 months?
We have today in Malaysia, I think, 60,000 users of our application, licenses which are there. So as I mentioned, so far we are at 5. So those who are above 5 million, 1 million who have complied. The others, in terms of their revenues, are lower, so they will comply as it comes along. We definitely will see an uptake in terms of our SaaS revenues, with mandatory e-invoicing in place, there will be an increase. I think, to give an example, during the GST days in 2015, that's when we got to know ABSS. We partnered with them to deliver the solutions. That was a very good year when GST was enforced. Everybody needs to do that. But of course, that will come in. SMEs will only comply when there is enforcement, right? Nobody is going to come and say, okay, I want to be a good boy and I want to comply. That's definitely not going to happen. So we need to wait for that.
Okay, got it. Okay, since you serve 7 of Indonesia's top 10 financial institutions, what is the regional expansion plan for Thailand, Vietnam, and the Philippines?
So far, we have been quite successful in Indonesia. We are now started to market our solutions in Malaysia. So in Malaysia, we have Perbadanan Hartana Berhad. We have implemented our investment management system for SSM for their back-end investment management. So we are slowly trying to. So they are keen to establish something out of our MSC here and to facilitate that. MSC, our MDAC facilitates us to move regionally. So the Indonesian, we are looking at how we can work with them to grow in the region. But currently, I think as investment portfolio solution provider, I think we have been fairly competitive in Indonesia, and Indonesia tends to use their local product in terms of instead of international product. That's why we are quite successful there. We will need to plan out for Thailand and other countries, but currently, initially looking at bringing them in Malaysia.
Will President WMS, like the microservice plus AI Wealth Navigator, expand into Islamic wealth tech for Malaysia and Brunei?
Yeah, even I think Indonesia, in terms of Sharia compliance, they also encourage that. So that's the solution which they have built. I think the AI, the navigator is something we recently launched at our 3 weeks back, where we did the launch for the banks and some of the customers there. We will be, there are some users who are testing that out, and once that gets accepted, then we will roll those out.
Okay. Just now you mentioned you got the activity like 3 weeks ago. Like, how is this? Everything's quite good so far?
That was mainly we gathered all our customers to showcase like a tech talk or showcase what are the solutions we are building. I think some of them from our team attended that together. We also invited MDAC in Indonesia to be a participant of that. And I think they had about 40 people who attended those conference or sharing session where we showcase our new products. It was quite successful, especially the banks and asset management companies. I think PT Prasindo solution is quite popular in Indonesia.
Okay, so good. Okay. GP margin is 37.9% and PPT margin is 10%. What is your target steady state margin after the full AI automation?
Difficult question. I mean, like what Jude mentioned, right? We are currently, picking it up and think, of course, we believe there will be improved productivity, faster delivery, and so AI generates certain things, but the developers are still required to do, the testing, UAT, all those things still needs a round of check, even though it generates documents and some code. So we believe there will be improvement, but to give an exact percentage to say this is how much AI is going to improve our margins, We'll wait to see how Juice does his magic.
Okay. Okay. Oh, the next question, I think some similar. As a software tech company, why is the PAT still in single digit? And do you have any strategy will lift the PAT to double digit in 2 to 3 years?
Yeah, I think if you notice for FY21-22, just after COVID, we had double digits PAT. The last 3 years, in terms of some of the digitalization projects, those projects which are not our core GRP and stuff like that, there were delays in terms of that, diminished our PATs. But we believe moving forward, this year and the next few years, it will grow to double digits PAT margins.
Mm. Mm. Oh, okay. Asking for the recurring revenue. How much of your revenue is pure recurring, like maintenance, subscription, managed service, and how much is this grow year to year compared with Q2 financial year 25?
Okay, for recurring revenue, like I mentioned, government is maintenance, and government pays either quarterly or yearly one. So it's slightly different for the government business. Currently, last year's, if you take FY25, 61 was our revenue for government segment, and 35 million of that was recurring, which are maintenance and cloud, which we provide for our customers. Whereas for the FMS-C commercial business, it's different because it's fully SaaS. So they put a credit card, and it gets deducted every month or yearly. That's how that business works. So it's slightly different. And so when we move to SaaS again, so we can only reckon. So we have moved some of them to SaaS, but those revenues which are booked for FY25 are only those up to will basically be up to March next year, which is our financial year, right? So we don't take those other revenues. So it's slightly different for the commercial and the government. So in SaaS, you pay subscription, even though in government you pay subscription, but some components are still maintenance type, which are recurring, but they are maintenance. So it's slightly different from each sector. Whereas digital tech, majority of the solutions will be SaaS.
Okay. It depends on how they record for the revenue and by the site. Okay. Which segment is the hardest? I mean, the competitive, like GRP, SME, accounting, cloud service, or the wealth technology?
Government, we can say we're the market leader. The commercial, yep, we have competition, right? We have auto count, we have zero. There are many players in the market, right? Again, price. We can say that since our solutions are rightly priced, we give the best for the SMEs. In terms of feature functions, I think we compete with them. Even for the government sector, when you go for the larger business, we compete with SAP and Oracle. If the agency has the money and wants to go for SAP, then it's SAP. If they in terms of budget, they are a bit restricted, then they work with us. So again, it depends, right? There's competition in we are not, we are market leaders in some of the segments, but there's competition in all these areas.
I can understand that, and also your service and your product tools. Okay. If big AI player like OpenAI or Google, they launch turnkey accounting tools, how will you defend your SME segment? I think it's quite
Maybe
similar. Yeah. Okay, sure.
All right. Yeah. Let me just share a story. About last year, right? We received an invite to participate in a AI voice bot. You heard about AI voice bot? AI voice bot is being used to automate contact centers. So what we did is that we partnered with a global company, a multinational, we then proposed a AI voice bot based on that global company solution. And when we did the demo, right, the customer says, "Yeah, I know it's a good solution, but we're not going to proceed with you." And why? It's because it doesn't sound Malaysian. It doesn't sound local. It doesn't sound no Manglish. So they didn't want to go with a global solution because it's not localized. So same thing here. The big boys, they want to come and offer their solution here. How are they going to adopt local? How would local customers go for a solution that's not localized for local invoicing requirements, local taxation requirements, local banking requirements? It's difficult for them actually. So just share my experience working with global players in this space. So what happened is that we then worked with a local Malaysian company who has trained their voice bot with Malaysian languages. And with that, when we demo it to the clients, they're happy because it can understand Malay plus Chinese plus English all put together, still can understand. So same thing here. Unless you localize it to the Malaysian requirement, it's going to be difficult for the big boys to come in. Yeah, I just want to share that.
Yeah, and how our local regulation, like just now you mentioned, and they serve their client also.
Yes.
Yeah, all right. Well, okay. I think we answered almost all of the question tonight. Yep. Before we end the webinar, we do have the POPMA activity after the Q&A section. Please be with me after that. And okay, I would like, after all of the Q&A and the presentation, Censof is one of the leading digital financial solution providers serving over 100 government agencies and more than 400,000 SME across Malaysia and ASEAN. Of course, the group now focusing for AI first transformation. We believe that it's set to boost their delivery efficiency, expand recurring revenue, and strengthen their margin across the government, GRP, SME cloud solution, and wealth technology platform. We also believe that it will help them to stabilize their performance and growing regional footprint and rising demand for, just now Mr. Amin mentioned, for the e-invoicing, cloud, and automation. And therefore, Censof is well positioned to capture accelerating digitalization opportunity in the public and private sector also. All right. I think this tonight for my conclusion for Censof. And yep, before we end the webinar, is Mr. Amil, Mr. Selvig, and Mr. Ju, do you have any closing remark for our investor?
Yeah, thanks again. I think that was a very good it's a very good presentation, and thank you. I can see quite a number of them still here, participants. I mean, if you ask me in terms of closing, I would like to probably give you three key areas. You mentioned one just now, which is the AI. The AI will definitely be a game changer for us, where we can see a lot more. It will improve our business processes, improve our business itself. We are confident with that. And secondly, like what Selwyn mentioned just now, which is the e-invoice. Now, e-invoice will be the next thing that we see as the government enforcement comes into play, which is come January and also July next year. There'll be a lot more that we can take advantage of, where the SMEs will definitely need to embark into this journey, and we will definitely see a lot of uptake on our side. And thirdly, which I also am quite excited to say that, as Selwyn mentioned just now, which is the InsurCo insurance aggregator. That is also another area that we feel, which is a startup. We've also launched our travel and motor, and yet to be launched later on within the next 1-2 months more. And the motor itself, we will definitely see a lot more uptake on that. And we feel these three areas that I just mentioned will be a good game changer for Censof Group itself, and we will be here to serve all of you all better, I'm sure. Thank you, Cik Yin. That's all I want to say for tonight, and yeah, pass it back to you then.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Amir. Okay, all right, and thanks for all tonight. Thank you, Mr. Amir, Mr. Selvi, and Mr. Jude again for tonight presentation. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, let me stop for the recording.